three undefeated teams in the Three Rivers Athletic Conference, two of them meeting tonight. Fremont Ross making the trip to Oregon to take on the Clay Eagles. Early on, Little Giants setting the tone. They're already up 7-0. Caden Holmes on the quarterback draw, his second touchdown run of the night. Ross leading 14-0, but the Eagles not rolling over. Mason Heinchel has several favorite targets. Number 15, Troy Hazuda among them. Wide open down the seam. Touchdown Clay plus a 2-point conversion, so it's just a 6-point game. Second quarter now, 21-15 Fremont Ross. Calandre Jones, tough running for the senior. Little Giants go up 28-15. Final seconds of the half now. Eagles back in the red zone. Heinchel shrugs off the sack, keeps the play alive, finds Evan Baker. Clay adds another 2-point conversion, so it's 28-23 at the break. Second half, Little Giants pull away on the ground. Big game for James. Big game for that Fremont Ross offensive line. Picking up some big holes for James, and Caden Holmes doing Caden Holmes things as Fremont Ross. They are now 4-0 heading to St. Francis next week. We knew the Little Giants could score. Second half, we found out the defense could get the job done as well.
Yeah, I mean, our defense really came through in the second half. They had a talk in the locker room, and they just picked the stuff up when they needed to. Yeah, they did great. Calandre Jones just kept pushing. Lyman kept pushing. They both did great.
Leading our blocking for this game, Chris Schmidbauer and Rhett Boyd.
Back out at Ted Federici Field of matchup of unbeatens here this evening, an old GLL rivalry track style as the Clay Eagles and Fremont Ross Little Giants squared off here tonight. And Rhett Boyd, we knew coming in that Fremont Ross has kind of been one of the teams that everybody's picked to win the league. Clay, not so much. As I said at the outset, we definitely knew one of these teams was probably going to be undefeated in week 4. We didn't know the other one was, and they put on a heck of a show tonight.
This is an offensive explosion, as advertised, coming into this ball game. And Clay in the first half was neck and neck with this Fremont dynamic offensive football team, 28-23 at the half. But I think we saw in the second half, Fremont maybe more versatile offensively, really relied on that run game, and it really set the tone for the second half.
Well, you mentioned Calandre Jones. He was a man amongst boys in that third quarter, scored 2 rushing touchdowns, really took a lot of time off the clock in the third quarter. And when you looked up, all of a sudden it was a pretty wide deficit, and Fremont Ross was in favor.
And that's what you got to do. If you're going to win championships, you're going to have to be able not only just throw the ball, but you have to be able to run the ball, especially as the weather changes, and you got to utilize clock and whatnot and keep the opposing offense off the field. Fremont did that tonight with their big offensive line, Calandre Jones. They did an outstanding job. They really set the tone, and then the defense really picked up their play in the second half as well.
On the other side, the Clay Eagles, they fall to 3-1. But we do think that it feels a little different. This group, they're only going to get better, and they're going to surprise some people this year.
There's no doubt about it. It feels different. It looks different. There's more dynamic playmakers on the Clay football team this season. And tonight, they can look at this game. Yeah, you're disappointed you didn't win, but you look at all the positives you had. You went up and down this football team against one of the better teams in this conference. So they have to continue to work, keep their nose to the grindstone, and they'll find themselves right where they want to be, playing meaningful games late this season.
Well, Fremont Ross 4-0. They're looking to pour it on Clay. They're going to look to rebound next week on the road at Lima Senior. Back to you guys in the studio.